Hello and welcome to the Pathfinder Outdoor Kitchen. I'm Matt Mercer, instructor for the Pathfinder School and the founder of the Black Hat Bushcraft channel right here on YouTube. And this afternoon I've come back out to our local lake here, just a beautiful place that I enjoy spending time. And I've come back here into the edge of the woods to claim my favorite picnic table here that I enjoy coming out and cooking on. To me, coming out here and doing a little fishing at the lake, coming back here in the woods, cooking up a delicious lunch is just a perfect way to spend a nice warm afternoon here in my area. And today I'm going to expand on something I cooked in our last episode. If you remember our last episode, we cooked up a delicious peach cobbler, which was our subscriber submitted recipe. And so that I wasn't just cooking dessert on the show, I cooked up a couple of hot dogs on the grill along with my peach cobbler. Well, we received a really interesting recipe from one of our subscribers that expands on the idea of cooking hot dogs here on the show. And so without further ado, let's talk about today's recipe, and it is for Sonoran Hot Dogs. Never tried this. It's definitely a twist on the traditional hot dog, and our recipe was submitted to us by Sandra Brambilla. Congratulations, Sandra, for your submission of this recipe, and I'm very excited about this one. Looking forward to trying it. And I think you guys will find this interesting. Again, it's a total twist on a traditional hot dog, and it's a fun way to cook them up here in the field. So, without further talking, let's get started on cooking. Alright, so the first step in assembling our hot dogs is I've taken a couple of toothpicks here and broken them in half. So I have 4 pieces, and this recipe calls for 4 hot dogs. I'm just using 2 because it's just me, and I have a couple of slices of bacon here. What I'm going to do is take the hot dog, and using these toothpicks, I'm just going to pin the bacon in place and wrap it around the hot dogs. Just like that. And I'm going to use the other half of this toothpick to pin it in place. Doesn't that look good? Y'all notice it's going to be good. And usually every video somebody comments about where was the bacon. So this time, for whoever that person is that always comments about bacon, here's the bacon. Got you covered this time. All right, and as you can see, just using that other toothpick there, pin our bacon in place. And we got 2 perfectly bacon wrapped hot dogs. We're going to get the stove fired up here, and we're going to be cooking here in just a moment. All right, so let's get our stove fired up here. All right, and for now we'll just be using 1 burner. But later on we'll switch over and use both. And today I'm going to be using the Pathfinder carbon steel skillet, which is probably my favorite piece of Pathfinder cooking gear. All right, we are officially cooking. So I have my stainless steel tongs here. I figured that'd be the easiest way to manipulate these hot dogs in the pan here. I think I'm going to turn this back a little bit. And man, the smell on this is already fabulous. Of course, anytime you got bacon frying in a pan, it always smells good. And the main thing with this is to make sure we cook it enough for the bacon, because obviously the hot dog doesn't require much in the way of cooking. We'll just keep moving these regularly, and no doubt they're going to turn out beautifully. Man, these things are looking really nice. I got a feeling this is one of those recipes that would be good if you're hungry and you don't want to spend a whole lot of time cooking. Because again, these things are cooking up really quick. Looking really good. All right, I believe we can call these things done right here. Cooked all the way through, I'm sure. Bacon's coming off of that one just a little bit, but it's gonna be good. By the way, do you have a favorite recipe that you like to enjoy when you're spending time in camp or recreating in the great outdoors? If so, go ahead and submit a copy of that recipe to the email address at the bottom of your screen, and that'll get your name and recipe entered into our data bank of recipes that I pull from each time I come out to film a new episode of our show. Remember, that's a win-win. It's a chance for me to enjoy your favorite recipe out here in the great outdoors, and it's a chance for you to win free Pathfinder outdoor cooking gear coming to you from Reliance Outfitters. Don't wait, go ahead and submit that recipe to me today, and I look forward to hearing from you. All right, so what I have here is my 1 quart stainless steel bush pot, and other than the carbon skillet, this is probably my favorite piece of Pathfinder cooking gear. I just love this as a solo cook pot. I've got all this bacon grease from the pan here, and I'm just gonna pour that into my bush pot. I'm gonna leave just a little bit in the pan because we're gonna be using that again. What I have here is just a can of pinto beans. And we're gonna take those pinto beans, put them in our pot. I'm gonna drain just a little bit of the juice off. All right, so with these drained, I'm just gonna add them here to the bush pot. And we're gonna get those on our stove. All right, so I'm gonna just have those sitting on a low heat here. All right, so our next step is to prep a few veggies that we'll be using here, and I just have a fresh green jalapeno. And what I'm gonna do is just slice this up. And I personally am not a big fan of the seeds. So I know some people really like the seeds. But what I'm gonna do is just clear these seeds out. Nice. All right, so I've gone ahead and cleared the seeds out of this jalapeno. And now what I'm gonna do is just slice it up. There may be a few extra seeds in there. And what we're gonna do with this jalapeno is we're gonna put it back in our skillet with the leftover bacon grease. And we're gonna just cook these things down. And they're gonna, of course, go on top of our hot dog once it's done. I think we have a little extra here. All right, it looks really nice. We still got that bacon grease in there. And that's gonna be some good stuff right there. All right, so I also have a white onion, and we're just gonna dice a little bit of that up. And no doubt I won't need all of this because it's just me. As always, I'm out cooking solo. This PKS Campmaster sure makes cutting this kind of stuff up a joy. It has a 3/32 of an inch thick blade, which is great for these slicing tasks. As you can see, it does a really nice job. All right, and our last item here is just a Roma tomato, and this thing is really nice and ripe. And so what I'm going to do is just slice this up a little bit. That's more than enough. And now I'm going to cross cut these just to make some small chunks out of it. Just trying to keep it all together there. And that looks pretty good right there. We got our hot dog toppings all prepped, ready to go. All right, so we've come back to the stove here. We're gonna get our jalapenos on the burner. Once we've got those cooked down, it's gonna be about time to eat. This is a very simple meal prep here. Just check on these pinto beans. They're not yet boiling. They smell good though. I can smell that bacon grease down in there. Just set those back on the burner. Starting to hear a little sizzle on our jalapenos there. Man, them jalapenos have got a good smell too. Spicy smell. Y'all know that looks good right there. Woo, it's gonna be some good stuff. So I needed just a little bit more grease in my skillet. So I threw a half a piece of bacon in there. That'll become my appetizer. And just kind of get some more grease to fry these jalapenos up in. It's looking a lot better. All right, these jalapenos are quite ready. I think we're ready to assemble our Sonoran hot dogs. Can't wait. Now, for this last step in cooking up these hot dogs, we're going all in to make these things perfect. We're gonna steam our buns. What I have here is the 120 ounce stainless steel Pathfinder bush pot, and I just have my stainless steel bowl. I'm gonna put this bowl upside down in the bottom of this pot. And now I'm just gonna add water about 1/4 of a way up the bowl. Just enough that we can get some steam in there. And now with that, I'll be able to put the rolls here on this bowl and prop them up against the sides of the pot. We're gonna be able to steam those up perfectly. So the first step is to get this thing hot, get some steam building, and we're gonna be ready to go. Man, that's working perfect. Look at that. Man, perfectly steamed hot dog bun. And since that bowl was kind of rocking around, I just stacked them up like that. Worked out perfect. All right, folks, I am so excited right now because it is finally time to put these hot dogs together. And what I have here is just a little bit of mayonnaise, which is squirting out everywhere. And according to the recipe, we should put a little bit of mayonnaise on each side of the hot dog bun here. I'm not going to go too heavy on that, so we got a lot to put in here. Just using my spoon to spread that in. Might need a little bit more. Just a little touch more. Of course, that's Duke's mayonnaise, because I don't think they make a different kind. All right, we are now ready to add our hot dogs. And of course, I'm going to remove those toothpicks. Add these dudes back down to the bun here. Make sure I get both of those toothpicks out. All right, so now that we've got our hot dogs assembled, we want to add just a couple of spoonfuls of these pinto beans, according to the recipe. Now, I'm going to be honest with you guys, I have never had pinto beans on a hot dog. So that's definitely a new twist. But I do like pinto beans. Especially pinto beans cooked with bacon grease. So it's got to be good, right? So the next step is to add some of our onion up here. And I don't want to go too heavy with that, just enough to get some flavor in. Onion smells good. Let's go with a little bit of this Roma tomato here. Give it a cooling effect with those jalapenos, I'm sure. Last time I had tomato on a hot dog, I was in Chicago. I know people in Chicago have a different spin on hot dogs. All right, now we need to add a few of these jalapenos up here. And these things are hot. I tasted one of them and it was kicking. Sometimes you get jalapenos that are really hot and sometimes you get them, they're not so hot. And these are extra hot. Now our final step is to add some of this Mexican cream. And this is not something that I have used much before at all, so I'm kind of curious about this. I'm going to drizzle it just over the hot dog is the instructions. And I'm sure, again, this stuff will help balance out the jalapenos. And just tasting this stuff, that is delicious. Where has that stuff been all my life? All right, you guys know what it's time for, that official meal reveal. Oh man, look at these Sonoran hot dogs wrapped in bacon in a freshly steamed bun, topped with those fresh cooked jalapenos, bacon grease no less, pinto beans, fresh chopped Roma tomatoes, white onions, and all that fresh Mexican cream. These things are going to be absolutely delicious. I just know it, and I cannot wait to give them a try. It is definitely time to eat. All right, so it's once again my favorite time in the show where I get to sit down and enjoy the fruits of my labor and have a delicious meal right here in the woods. But anytime I'm going to enjoy a good meal, I like to take just a minute to give thanks. All right, it's time for the official taste test. And I got to tell you guys, I am really ready for this one. Here goes. A lot of flavor right there. So different from a hot dog. At least the type of hot dog I'm used to, mustard, ketchup, and chili. Totally different. Sorry guys, this is really hard to eat and talk, and I don't want to be rude talking with my mouth full, but now that I've tried this, gotten a good taste for it, there's nothing in this that I would take away. And I don't really think there's anything that I would add. What I might do is I would take the onions and put them in with the jalapenos and cook them in the bacon grease. That might be good. So I'm not a huge fan of raw onion. It's okay, I can eat it, you know, but it's not like my first choice. But it blends in, the flavor all blends in. You might could even take the onion and cook it in the pinto beans. That might be good too. But again, nothing about this would I change. I think it's fantastic. All the flavors, they really come together nice. Especially the cream. Don't forget the cream. Definitely. I think this might be the hardest meal that I've ever tried to eat and talk about on camera. A little bit messy too. I might even call these Sonoran sloppy dogs because you almost need a spoon to eat what falls off. So I almost forgot to give you guys a little bite of this delicious Sonoran hot dog. Y'all know that looks good. All that flavor going on. Take a bite. I've got one down and a piece of one to go. Well, I'm not going to keep making you guys suffer through watching me eat these delicious hot dogs, but I hope that you will get out and give this recipe a try. I think it's something that you'll enjoy. Of course, with any of the recipes that I show, you can always add or take away things to fit your taste. So don't hesitate to modify that recipe. Give it a try, and I hope that you will enjoy this one. Once again, I'd like to say thank you to Sandra for submitting this recipe, and I hope you guys will be a subscriber to our channel. If you haven't already, click that subscribe button. It's free. Ring that bell button. That way you'll stay notified of all of the upcoming episodes of Pathfinder Outdoor Kitchen and other great videos that will be shared here on the Self-Reliance Outfitters channel. So from all of us at Self-Reliance Outfitters, we appreciate your time, interest, and support, and I look forward to coming back to you again very soon with another episode of Pathfinder Outdoor Kitchen. And until that one, you guys take care, and as always, be safe. I'll see you soon. Well, it's now time for my least favorite part of Pathfinder Outdoor Kitchen, all the cleanup. But at least my plate doesn't need much work.